Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Who's on the Couch. Today we have our friends from DSM in Chile, Jano and Daniel. So we're going to do a little question here. So let's start off with who you are and where you're from.
I'm Daniel Schwartz, and
And I'm Jano Acevedo.
yeah, and we are DSM and Humboldt, and we're coming from Chile. We started on 2019 as a company, and each of us had his own company before that. Jano had Fuse and Humboldt Electronics, and I had DSM Noisemaker. So we started working together, but not at the same company. We started in a common project. We worked together very well, and started
DSM and Humboldt.
DSM and Humboldt in 2019 with the Simplifier project.
Interesting, so you've been friends all along.
Yeah. At the very beginning, it's supposed to be a joint venture. Not beyond that, because we never knew that the Simplifier will become almost an instant success. Shortly after that, it was too late to change the name of the brand, so we decided to keep it as DSM and Humboldt.
Our philosophy is make top-notch premium gear, but keeping the tradition of analog sound alive. Everything is moving on the digital way, and we want to keep the naturality and the feeling of the analog world, but with the features that they are not easily available on the analog world, like having great cabinet simulations and tube amps recreations, and we are pushing the envelope on that.
What was like the missing gear that you made decide to make the pedals for your own?
I was making the cabinet simulator when working with the DSM Noisemaker, and Jano was a client of mine. He started using it, and he realizes that, or making the whole chain of an app will be a much better approach. I took his idea and designed a prototype, and we realized that it had a great potential. We went on it and tried to make the most versatile. It will work for you at home, recording or playing live, or just practicing in your bedroom. So we added all the features that we would like to have on a like 0-watt amp, as we call it, because it's an actual amplifier structurally, but it doesn't have a high power amp, so it behaves like one. That filled a hole in the gear community.
Back in 2019, when we released the Simplifier, there was no other solution like this one in the market. We were some sort of pioneers in this way to do that thing. So many people say that the Sense amp was the first of the ampless solutions out there. But I think because of the footprint and the signal flow on that device, it wasn't really made for replacing a whole amp. The first versions, back in the 90s, stuff like that. Of course, they were pioneers and an inspiration for us. I think we moved the things beyond that. You cannot speak or talk about the ampless solution without naming the Simplifier at this moment.
And the pedals are handmade in Chile. Can you tell me something more about that?
Yeah, Chile is a very special country. When you think about South America, we don't have tradition doing gear like in the UK or maybe North America. You can say, what comes up from Chile beyond wine and salmon
Steaks.
and copper and steak? We are the world champions on pork belly. We have a very special situation because we have a very open economy. Very different situation to any of the other countries like Argentina, Brazil, that have a huge industry but really closed market. So import something to that nation is really difficult. They're really tricky. In Chile, the situation is different. It's more open. So if you want to stand out doing gear, you have the same competitors that you already have in the US or in Europe. Working in Chile for us, it means being at home. At some point, we thought about moving to the US, maybe to take the advantage. But nowadays, I think it's a really good place to develop. You have some other examples of doing relevant things coming from Chile. You have the case of Douglas Castro from Douglas. He founded the company shortly before moving to Finland in Chile. So we have a really good background in electronics and stuff like that. I don't know why, but
I don't know, something in the water.
maybe.
As you mentioned before, you're famous for your simplifier. What is the thing with that?
It was born from the actual needs of musicians. Jano is a musician, he plays. And he's in a situation, as most musicians are now, that he cannot use amps on stage. Most of them are digital.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we wanted to make an analog solution, it has to compete in terms of flexibility and connections with the digital world. I think it has been really well received because of that honesty and no frills. It's like what you see is what you get. You have the three main classic amps that are more famous, and all the connections that you would like to have if you're playing stereo or ambient stuff. The simplifier is a pedal platform, so you can project your tone through the PA and your headphones and monitor yourself at the same time, and having a stereo signal or wet dry wet or just mono, whatever you want. That's what makes it stand.
It's very versatile. If you want to use it live or you want to use it at home,
Yes.
or with your headphones or just for practicing, it's multi-usable.
The form factor is very important.
Yes.
We didn't want it to be bigger than it takes too much real estate on your pedal boards. The way the connections are put together is everything was thoroughly thought of. The outputs go that way because it's on the end of the chain and the input is that way, so it's closer to your drive pedals. This is what we like to have and put it on there, and it's a key to its success.
It's high-tech engineering.
It's engineering with passion. It's like to put you in, to be in place of the user
Yes.
and the musician and feel that passion and the needs they have and try to put it together in something physical.
And what are any plans for the future? What you want to do?
We're going back to the simplifier thing. That's our flagship. What we do the best is the amplet solution. So we bring it out last year. A few interesting products: the clear comp for sure, the silver linings, the black clouds. So we are always moving into the dynamic side of things. So we want to inspire on classic versions, whatever it takes. We're almost to take the challenge of being pioneers. And we used to think about the real tube amplification. Nowadays we have the digital and the solid state. There's a lot of things that we left in the past. Doing the analog way, the solid state way, could be really good if you take the right choices. So we are taking the right choices, and there's a lot more to explore into the analog development of devices. It's not everything said with the TS9, with the clone and blah, 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 and cloning the same stuff with different names, with different approaches. We think that there's a lot more to explore. And the last time when we were developing one of our new products that will show up soon, we find out that there's a lot more to dive, to research, to explore, to experiment. So I think we'll be keeping experimenting.
Want to go further and further and further than anyone has go before. It's more than for business. It's a search for for tone. We are players. We want the feeling, the warmth, and the sustain of a grade 2 amp being cranked, the sound with pushing your body and everything, and we want to make it our way. For each of these products, there are 10 prototypes before the final product, because we like trying new stuff, trying different stuff that, I don't know, we haven't seen on the usual circuits. I mean, we like to make our own style.
So you can divide from all the other ones.
Yeah, yes, it's like maybe 50 years in the future, someone will check a schematic and say, "Oh, this is a DSM style."
That would be great, right?
Yeah.
We don't clone anything. We always try to do original, not in a pretentious way, to say, oh, we can do better than anywhere else. It's just because we have the need to stand out way better, because we're coming from Chile. That could mean a disadvantage if you say, okay, I prefer a UK-made product, an American-made product, because South American people, I don't know, our product doesn't have to be a little bit better. We have to be much better just to compete with the other brands.
Yep.
That force us to keep challenging ourselves.
And make it creative stuff, something that you cannot compare with others. We want to be the leaders and reference.
Yeah.
That pedal is like the simplifier. That compressor is like the clear comp. I start with an idea in my head, and start from scratch, and usually I end up with something that magically works.
We only use the other brands' gear to compare, but we never take schematics or stuff like that. Even with the silver linings, you can say it's an overdrive. Oh, okay, for sure it's a TS9 with variations, but it is not.
One of our goals is, like I said before, is to be reference. When we started this and making the line and planning and all this, was, if we're not going to make the best, we don't bother making anything. We work by that. Of course, the best is always subjective. For us, it's the best. We compared with different brands, so what we think is in the same range, and if it's not better, we don't release it.
Very hard work on a daily basis, and in the meantime, try to have a lot of fun.
Yes, it's a dream work,
Yes.
Enjoy it, playing guitar, many guitars, many pedals, all day. And circuits, and well, in my case, I love working with circuits.
I have to deal with the other part.
Yeah.
But business-wise, even it's a business, and we have people that depends on our creativity by the moment. One of our main wishes for future is to keep having fun. We are taking care for sure of the business and dealership and distributorship, because we have to do that. But we are not putting the business beyond the tone or over the tone, over having fun doing what we love. And I hope the things keep the same way for future.
Yeah, it's funny that when we're about or developing a product, I was called I in design mode, and I just go nuts. Like,
Don't respond.
yeah, and I don't respond. I don't think. Hey, Daniel, you did that yesterday? I don't know. I'm designing. Don't ask me about anything.
So we can complement really well. But we never try to put over each other, being friends and associates, I have a background as a graphic designer, as I told you before. In the case of the silver linings, I made, I don't know, 10 or 15 sketch of what it will look like, but the end design is almost the same as Daniel present at the very beginning, because, okay, this works best. What is best or what is better for the company? We took that choice. In the case of the black clouds, I was so proud of, because I made the graphic design on it in the top, and was one shot. So, okay, this looks nice. Yeah, it looks nice. So let's go with this one. And it's the same with Hugo and the people in the company. Every one of us have different talents. So as a company, we try to find which one is better for doing this and try to keep that related to that. And
everyone does what they do best. And one other thing is that we both play guitar, but we are complete opposites on style. I'm more of a hard rocker or a metalhead, and he's more clean or
vintage, maybe
vintage
style or more ambience.
So that's pretty interesting when we're developing our products, that it has to satisfy both.
Sometimes it's tough because we have to, as Daniel said before, we have to take from the user point of view. Sometimes you have to sacrifice or make concessions in terms of tone because you can achieve everything. Even if you are designing a very versatile piece of product, if you exceed something in this range, will affect this other range or this other kind of customers, or the people that is looking for more clean sound, or the people that is looking for more hard sound. So we try to find the right balance into this. And I think at the moment, we've been dealing with that in a really good way.
So I want to thank you guys for the brilliant answers. So we have now a more idea what DSM Humboldt is for and the philosophy behind it. So
thanks to you.
Thank you, Jan. Such an honor to be here.